Single mother fired for being late after helping elderly man in the rain. But he was her boss's father. Maya Sterling hurried down Broadway in New York City, mentally calculating that she still had 5 minutes to get to the office on time. It was the third time that month she was racing against the clock, and she knew that another late arrival would mean the end of her job at the accounting firm Miller and Associates. That's when she saw the grey-haired gentleman trip on the wet sidewalk and fall heavily to the ground. The torrential rain that had suddenly started was soaking the elderly man, who was trying unsuccessfully to get up. Maya stopped. She looked at the watch on her wrist, then at the office just 2 blocks away, and finally at the fallen man. "Are you okay?" she asked, running to him and kneeling on the wet pavement. "I think I twisted my ankle," the man replied with difficulty. "But don't worry, miss, go on with your day." Maya looked at her watch again. 3 minutes to 8 in the morning. If she ran now, she might still make it on time, but the gentleman was trying to lean on his cane and couldn't stand up. "I'll help you get up. What's your name?" "Arthur Kensington, but you can call me Mr. Arthur." Maya helped the man to his feet, offering her shoulder as support. The rain continued to pour, and she took off the pink jacket she was wearing, placing it over Mr. Arthur's head to protect him. "Miss, you're going to get wet because of me." "It's not a problem. You need to get out of this rain. Where do you live?" "Nearby, in the building on the corner. But you don't have to. I'll walk you there." They walked slowly, Maya supporting part of the elderly man's weight as the rain soaked them. Mr. Arthur was visibly limping, and she realized the injury was more serious than he was letting on. "Thank you, my dear. It's been a long time since I've met someone so kind." "Anyone would do the same," Maya replied, though she knew that wasn't true. Several people had passed by them without even looking. They arrived at the building where Mr. Arthur lived. The doorman saw them and rushed to help. "Mr. Arthur, what happened?" "I fell on the sidewalk, but this angel here helped me." Maya helped the doorman settle the elderly man into a chair in the building lobby. "Do you need anything else? Should I call a doctor?" "No need, my dear, thank you so much. What's your name?" Maya Sterling." "Maya, you wasted your time on me. I hope this hasn't caused any trouble for you." Maya looked at her watch. It was already past 8:15. She was officially late, and this time there was no excuse that Stephen Vance, the manager, would accept. "Don't worry, Mr. Arthur. Take good care of yourself." She ran the 2 blocks to the office, entering the elevator wet and out of breath. When she reached the 8th floor, all her colleagues were already at their desks. Stephen Vance was waiting for her with his arms crossed next to her workstation. 15 minutes late, Maya. 3rd time this month." "Stephen, I can explain. There was an elderly gentleman who—" "I don't want to hear excuses. We've talked about this twice already. You have children, I understand, but that can't interfere with your work." The colleagues pretended to be focused on their tasks, but Maya felt everyone's eyes on her. Brenda at the next desk shook her head in disapproval. Greg, from the finance department, whispered something to his colleague, and they both chuckled quietly. "Stephen, please. I need this job. I can make up the lost time by staying late today." "I'm sorry, Maya. The decision is made. Get your things." The world seemed to collapse around her. 3 years working at the company, she had never missed a single day, always completed her tasks with dedication, and now she was being fired for helping someone in need. "But Stephen—" "You're fired, Maya. Human Resources will calculate your severance." With trembling hands, she began to gather her personal belongings from the desk. The photo of her children, Leo, 12, and Chloe, 8. The calendar with the dates of the children's doctor appointments. The small pot with a succulent she had received at last year's Secret Santa. Brenda approached as Stephen walked away. "Maya, I told you he had his eye on you. Don't complain later." "I just helped a person, Brenda." "And it backfired. Mind your own business, right? I always say that." Greg appeared beside her desk. "At least now you'll have more time to take care of your kids," he said sarcastically. "I never understood how you got this job anyway." Maya felt the tears burning her eyes, but forced herself not to cry there, in front of everyone. She finished putting her things into a cardboard box and headed to the elevator. No one said goodbye. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now, Continuing. On the sidewalk in front of the commercial building, Maya finally allowed the tears to fall. The rain had stopped, but she was drenched inside and out. How would she tell the children? How would she pay the rent that was already overdue? What would she do now? She walked to the bus stop, heading toward her children's school. It was almost 9 in the morning, and she needed to let them know there had been a change in the routine. Normally, a neighbor would pick up Leo and Chloe at 2 in the afternoon and take them home, where Maya would arrive at 6. Now she'd have to reorganize everything. On the bus, she watched the streets of New York City pass by the window and tried to think of alternatives. She had some money saved, enough for 2 months' rent if she was very frugal. After that, she preferred not to think. She arrived at the public school where her children studied and asked to speak with the principal, Mrs. Gable, a 60-year-old woman who knew the family's situation well. "Maya, you look awful. Did something happen?" "I lost my job this morning, Mrs. Gable." "My goodness, dear, what happened?" Maya told her the whole story. The principal listened in silence, shaking her head. "You did the right thing, Maya. Never regret helping someone. But I know that won't pay your bills. Let me see if I can get some job leads for you." "Thank you, Mrs. Gable. I'll take anything." "And the boys? Are you picking them up earlier today?" "I think so. I don't know yet what the new routine will be." Maya went back home, a 2-bedroom apartment in an old building in Queens. It was small, but it was what she could afford on the salary she earned. The salary she earned until a few hours ago. She sat on the living room sofa and finally allowed reality to hit her with full force. Unemployed, with 2 children to raise alone, overdue rent and little savings. At 35, she felt all the stability she had built had crumbled in a matter of minutes. Her phone rang. It was her mother, Gloria Sterling, 62, who lived in Cape May. "Sweetheart, how are you?" "Hi, Mom, I'm fine," she lied. "Your voice sounds strange. Did something happen?" Maya hesitated. She didn't want to worry her mother, who received only a small pension and already helped when she could. "No, Mom, everything's normal." "Maya, I've known you since you were born. What happened?" It was impossible to hold back any longer. Maya told her everything, crying on the phone. Gloria listened in silence and then sighed deeply. "My daughter, your heart is too good for this world, but don't despair. I'll see what I can do to help you." "Mum, you already do so much for us." "Nonsense. That's what family is for. You'll get another job, I'm sure of it." After hanging up, Maya felt a little better. At least she wasn't completely alone in the world. At 2 in the afternoon, she went to pick up her children from school. Leo immediately noticed something was different. "Mom, why did you come to pick us up? And why are you home at this hour?" "Let's talk at home, son." Chloe, always more distracted, was happy to see her mother earlier. "That's great, Mom. Now you can help me with my homework." At home, Maya gathered the 2 in the living room and tried to explain the situation as gently as possible. "Kids, Mommy is no longer working at that company." "Why?" asked Leo, always the more inquisitive one. "Because I was late today, and the boss didn't like it." "But you're going to get another job, right?" Chloe was only 8 years old, but she already understood the importance of working. "Yes, I am, my love. Don't worry, Mommy will figure it out." Leo, however, was not satisfied with the explanation. "Mum, why were you late?" "You're never late." Maya told him about the man she had helped. Leo became thoughtful. "So you lost your job because you helped a person?" "Yeah, that's right." "That's unfair," said Leo, with the indignation typical of someone discovering the world isn't always just. "It is unfair, son, but sometimes things just happen that way." Chloe approached her mother and hugged her. "Don't be sad, Mom. You're the best mom in the world." Maya felt her heart tighten. How could these children be so understanding and caring in the middle of all this difficulty? That night, after putting the children to bed, Maya sat at the kitchen table doing the math. She had $2,500 in savings. The rent was $800 plus $200 for the condo fee. Electricity, water, phone added up to another $300. Food for 3 people, at least $400 a month if she was very frugal. Just the basic bills already came to $1,700. With the money she had, she could last 2 months at most. She took the computer and started looking for job openings online: administrative assistant, receptionist, salesperson. She sent resumes to dozens of companies, knowing the competition would be fierce. After 2 hours of job hunting, she decided to take a shower and try to sleep. Tomorrow would be a new day, and she needed to be rested for the interviews she hoped to get. But sleep didn't come. She lay staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had happened. Had she done the right thing? Should she have ignored the man in the rain and gone to work? No. As difficult as her situation was now, she knew she couldn't live with herself if she had abandoned someone in need. Her mother had always taught her that helping others was more important than anything else. The next morning, Maya woke to the sound of the phone ringing. It was Mrs. Gable, from the school. "Maya, I got the contact for a company that's looking for an administrative assistant. It's a small construction company, but at least it's a start." "Thank you, Mrs. Gable. I'll call right away." The construction company was in the North Zone, far from home, but Maya couldn't be picky. She scheduled an interview for that afternoon. She dropped the kids off at school and took 2 buses to get to the location. The company was indeed small, operating out of a converted house. The owner, Mr. Samuel, a man in his 50s, received her personally. "So, Maya, tell me a little about yourself." She talked about her experience, omitting the reason for her dismissal from the previous company. "And why did you leave your last job?" The question she feared. She decided to be honest. "I was fired for being late." "I see. And why were you late?" Maya told the whole story. Mr. Samuel listened attentively. "Look, Maya, your attitude was very noble. But I need someone who is punctual. I can't risk having issues with timeliness. Mr. Samuel, I understand your concern, but I can assure you I am a responsible person. In 3 years at my previous company, that was the only problem I ever had. I'll think about it and give you an answer by tomorrow." Maya left the interview knowing she wouldn't be called back. The man's expression made it clear he had already decided. On the bus ride home, she got a call from an unknown number. "Hello, is this Maya?" "Yes, who's speaking?" "This is Arthur Kensington. You helped me yesterday in the rain." Maya remembered the elderly man immediately. "Mr. Arthur, how are you feeling?" "Much better, thanks to you. Listen, I've been thinking. You told me your name yesterday, and this morning I found out where you work." "Actually, I don't work there anymore, Mr. Arthur." "What do you mean?" "I was fired yesterday because I was late." There was silence on the line. "My dear, you lost your job because you helped me?" "It wasn't quite like that, Mr. Arthur. I had been late other times. I won't accept that excuse. You lost your job because you were a good Samaritan. That's outrageous." "But it wasn't your fault." "Of course it was. If I hadn't fallen, you would have been on time. Let me do something. I'm going to call that company and explain the situation." "No, Mr. Arthur. Please don't do that. It'll make things worse for me." "Leave it to me, Maya. I'll talk to the person in charge." Before she could protest further, Mr. Arthur hung up. Maya was worried. What if the old man went there and made a scene? That could damage her reputation in the job market even more. She arrived home distressed and found an envelope under the door. It was a condo fee bill with a late notice. One more worry. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out, now continuing. That afternoon, after picking up the kids from school, Maya was preparing dinner when the phone rang again. It was Mr. Arthur. "Maya, are you home?" "Yes, I am, Mr. Arthur. May I come over? I need to talk to you in person." "Of course. Do you know my address?" "I got it from the doorman in my building. He knows the superintendent of your building." Half an hour later, Mr. Arthur arrived, accompanied by his building's doorman, who had driven him. Maya greeted him at the entrance. "Mr. Arthur, you didn't have to come all the way here." "Yes, I did, my dear. I have a proposal for you." They went up to Maya's apartment. Leo and Chloe were curious about the visitor, and she explained he was the man she had helped the day before. "Pleasure to meet you, kids. You have a very special mother." "We know," said Chloe, smiling. They sat in the living room, and Mr. Arthur got straight to the point. "Maya, I called your former company today. Maya's heart raced. Who did you speak with? With a fellow named Stephen. I explained the whole situation, said that you had helped me and that's why you were late. And what did he say? That the company rules are clear and he can't make exceptions. He spoke very rudely, in fact. Maya sighed. That was exactly what she expected. Thank you for trying, Mr. Arthur, but I already imagined it would be like that. Well then, I have a proposal. I want to hire you to take care of my house. What do you mean? I've been a widower for 2 years. My wife Martha took care of everything. After she passed, the house became a mess. I need someone to clean, organize things, prepare some meals. Maya became thoughtful. On one hand, she desperately needed work. On the other, she didn't want Mr. Arthur to feel obligated to help her. Mr. Arthur, that's very kind of you, but... No buts. You helped me when I needed it. Now it's my turn to help you. I can pay $500 a week. You would come 3 times a week, about 4 hours each day, $2,000 a month. It was less than she earned at the accounting firm, but it was better than nothing. I don't know. Are you sure you need help? Absolutely certain. Would you like to see the house? The next day, Maya went to see Mr. Arthur's house. It was a large, well-located apartment, but it truly needed attention. Piles of laundry to wash, dishes stacked up, dusty furniture. You miss your wife a lot, don't you, Mr. Arthur? Yes, I do, my dear. Martha took care of everything with such affection. After she passed, I lost the motivation for these things. Maya started working that same day. She organized the kitchen, washed the dishes, tidied the living room. Mr. Arthur sat in an armchair, watching and talking. It's been a long time since I've seen this house so tidy, he said, visibly moved. You need to take better care of yourself. It's hard, Maya. When you live with someone for 50 years and suddenly you're alone, I understand it must be very hard indeed. And you, what's it like raising 2 children alone? It's not easy either. But we manage. Their father doesn't help at all, so it's just the 3 of us. How old are they? Leo is 12 and Chloe is 8. Good ages. Do you have pictures of them? Maya showed some photos on her phone. Mr. Arthur smiled upon seeing the children. They're very beautiful. They take after their mother. During the following weeks, Maya established a routine. She went to Mr. Arthur's house on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. On other days, she continued looking for work and taking care of her children. The relationship between them grew closer and closer. Mr. Arthur told stories from his youth, spoke of his wife with great affection, showed interest in Maya's children. You know, Maya, you've brought joy back to this house. You're very kind. It's not kindness, it's the truth. Since Martha passed, I spent my days alone watching television. Now I have someone to talk to. One day, Mr. Arthur made an unusual proposal. Maya, how about you bring the children here on the weekend? I have some old games stored away that they might like. Maya hesitated. She didn't want to mix things up too much. I don't know, Mr. Arthur. Come on, my dear, it's been so long since I've had children around. Martha and I were never able to have children. The following Saturday, Maya took Leo and Chloe to see Mr. Arthur's house. The elderly man was radiant with their presence. What a big house, said Chloe, impressed. It's much bigger than ours, added Leo. Mr. Arthur showed them a collection of old toy cars he kept in the guest room. These cars belonged to my nephew when he was little. Now he's grown up and has children of his own. The children were delighted with the toys. Mr. Arthur told stories about each one, and for the first time in a long while, his house was filled with children's laughter. Mom, Mr. Arthur is really nice, said Chloe on the way back home. He is. He knows a lot of stories, agreed Leo. Maya was happy to see her children cheerful, but also worried. What if Mr. Arthur grew tired of their presence? What if she was taking advantage of the old man's kindness? The next week, during her work, Mr. Arthur seemed more animated than usual. Maya, I've been thinking, how about you all come for lunch here on Sunday? Mr. Arthur, you don't have to. I want to. It's been a long time since I've cooked for more people. Martha always made special Sunday lunches. But you shouldn't go to all that trouble. What trouble? It will be a joy for me. Maya accepted the invitation, but insisted on helping with the food preparation. On Sunday, she arrived early with the children, and together they prepared a delicious lunch. "Did your wife teach you how to cook?" "Yes, she did. Martha used to say a man who doesn't know how to cook is an incomplete man," he said, laughing. During lunch, Mr. Arthur told more stories about his life with Martha. Leo and Chloe listened, fascinated. "How did you two meet?" asked Chloe. "At a 4th of July festival 55 years ago. She was beautiful, in a blue floral dress. When I saw her square dancing, I thought, I'm going to marry that girl." "And did you really get married?" asked Leo. "We did, a year later. We had 50 very happy years together." Maya noticed that Mr. Arthur's eyes grew moist as he spoke of his wife. "She was a very special person," said Maya softly. She really was. Martha had a huge heart, always helping everyone, always concerned about others. "You remind me so much of her, Maya." After lunch, Mr. Arthur showed photo albums to the children. Leo was impressed with the old photos. "Wow, the photos really were in black and white." "They were, my boy, and it took days for them to be ready. It wasn't like today, where you take the picture and see it right away." Chloe was especially interested in the wedding photos. "What a beautiful dress." Martha sewed her own dress. She was very skilled. When it was time to leave, the children didn't want to go. "Can we come back next week?" asked Chloe. "Of course you can, my dear. You will always be welcome here." On the way home, Leo made an observation that surprised Maya. "Mom, Mr. Arthur is very lonely." "Why do you say that, son?" "You can tell he's happy when we're there, and he talks about his wife as if she were going to arrive any minute." Maya was impressed by her son's maturity. "You're right, Leo. I think our presence is good for him. And his presence is good for us too," said Chloe. "He's like our grandfather." Her daughter's observation touched Maya deeply. Truly, Mr. Arthur was becoming a paternal figure in their lives. Her children had never known their paternal grandparents, and her mother lived far away. The presence of an elderly male figure was doing everyone good. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. The weeks passed, and Maya's routine organized itself around her work at Mr. Arthur's house and caring for her children. She kept sending out resumes and going on some interviews, but so far hadn't landed anything permanent. One afternoon, arriving home after work, she found a collection letter under the door. It was from the apartment owner, notifying her that the rent was 2 months overdue and that she would have 15 days to settle the debt or be evicted. Maya sat in the kitchen and did the math again. With the money she earned from Mr. Arthur, she could pay the basic bills and buy food, but it wasn't enough to cover the back rent. She picked up the phone to call her mother, but hesitated. Gloria had already helped by sending $500 the previous month. She couldn't keep asking for help. She decided to talk to the owner, Mr. David, who lived on the ground floor of the building. She went down with the letter in hand. "Good afternoon, Mr. David." "Hi, Maya. I imagine you're here because of the letter." "Exactly. I wanted to talk to you about a longer deadline to settle the overdue amount." "Look, Maya, I know you're a good tenant. You've never given me any trouble, but I have my own bills to pay too." "I understand, Mr. David. The situation is that I lost my job 2 months ago and I'm still getting back on my feet." "That's a shame. But have you found another job yet?" "I got a temporary job, but it's still not enough to cover all the expenses." Mr. David became thoughtful. "Let me be honest with you, Maya. I already have someone interested in the apartment who can pay in cash. If you can settle up by the end of the month, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll have to rent it to her." "I understand. I'll do what I can." Maya walked up to her apartment with a heavy heart. There were 10 days left until the end of the month. Where would she get $1,600 to settle the overdue rent? That night, after putting the children to bed, she stayed in the living room thinking of alternatives. She could try for a bank loan, but she knew it would be nearly impossible to get one while unemployed. She could ask her mother for more money, but that would be a huge burden on her retirement. She could try to sell some things, but she had nothing of value. The next day, she arrived at Mr. Arthur's house earlier than usual. He noticed she was downcast. "Maya, You look terrible. Did something happen? She hesitated to tell him. She didn't want Mr. Arthur to feel obligated to help even more. I'm fine, Mr. Arthur, just a little tired. Don't try to fool me, my dear. I've lived a long life, and I know when someone is worried. Sit here and tell me what's going on. Maya couldn't hold back and told him about the threat of eviction. Mr. Arthur listened in silence, shaking his head. How much do you need to settle the arrears? $1,600. But Mr. Arthur, I'm not telling you this to ask for a loan. I know you're not, but I can lend you this money. I can't accept that, Mr. Arthur. You already helped me so much by giving me work. Maya, listen to me. I'm an old man alone in the world. I have money saved that I don't even know what for. If I can help you and your children, why wouldn't I? Because I wouldn't have a way to pay it back. Who said you need to pay it back? Consider it a gift. I can't accept such a big gift. Then accept it as a loan with no deadline to repay. When you can, you pay it back. If you can't, forget it. Maya felt tears burning her eyes. That man's kindness was something she had never experienced before. Why are you doing this for me? Because you brought humanity back into my life, Maya. Before you showed up, I was just waiting for my days to pass. Now I have reasons to wake up in the morning. Mr. Arthur, don't make me cry, my dear. Just accept this help so I can have peace of mind. Maya accepted the loan, promising to repay it as soon as she got a better job. Mr. Arthur went to the bank that same day and brought the cash. Now you can rest easy about the apartment. How can I thank you? By continuing to take care of me and bringing the children to brighten up this house. That weekend, when Maya took Leo and Chloe to visit Mr. Arthur, the elderly man had prepared a surprise. He had bought a checkers set and a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. I thought you could leave these games here. That way, every time you come, we have something to do together. The children were excited. Leo, who was entering adolescence and sometimes became more withdrawn, opened up completely with Mr. Arthur. Did you play checkers when you were a kid? Asked Leo. Yes, I did. My father taught me when I was about your age. He said checkers teaches you to think before you act. Is that true? Yes, it is. In life, just like in the game, you need to think about the consequences of every move you make. Chloe was more interested in the jigsaw puzzle, which had a picture of a garden full of flowers. It's just like the garden at your grandmother's house when I was little, she said to Maya. That's right, sweetie. Grandma Gloria's house had a beautiful garden. Mr. Arthur became curious. What's your mother like, Maya? She's a very strong woman. Raised 5 children practically alone. My father drank a lot and didn't help at all. 5 children. Goodness gracious. And where are your siblings? I have 2 brothers who live in New York City, one who went to Rio de Janeiro, and a sister who got married and lives in the countryside. We talk, but everyone has their own life. You know how it is. I understand. And your mother, does she live alone? She does. She's down in Cape May in the same house where we grew up. Didn't she want to come to New York City to be near you? We even offered, but she says she has her friends there, her routine. At her age, it's hard to change. Mr. Arthur grew thoughtful. Age is no excuse for anything, Maya. I myself, at 75, completely changed my routine when you came into my life. That's true. You are much more lively now. I really am. You know, sometimes I think Martha sent you to me. How so? Martha always said that when a person does good, good comes back to them. You helped me that day, and now we're helping each other. The conversation was interrupted by Chloe, who had finished a section of the puzzle. Look, I managed to put all the red flowers together. How beautiful, my dear, said Mr. Arthur. You have patience just like your mother. My mother is the best in the world, Chloe declared with conviction. She is, agreed Leo. She does everything for us. Maya was moved by her children's words. Sometimes she felt like an inadequate mother, always racing against the clock, always worried about money. But in that moment, she realized she might be doing a better job than she thought. During the following week, Maya received a call that excited her. It was from a human resources company that had seen her resume online. Maya, we have an opening for an administrative assistant at a mid-sized firm in the financial district area. Would you like to schedule an interview? Of course, when would it be? Tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon. Can you attend? Yes, I can. Maya spent the rest of the day rehearsing possible interview questions. She chose her best professional outfit and prepared a folder with resumes and documents. The next morning, she went to work at Mr. Arthur's house, more cheerful than usual. "You're radiant today," he observed. "I have a job interview this afternoon." "That's great. At what company?" "It's called Kensington Consulting. It's a business consulting firm." Mr. Arthur suddenly stopped what he was doing. "What's the name of the company?" "Kensington Consulting, why?" "Are you sure that's the name?" "Yes, I am. It's right here on the paper." She showed him the note she had made. Mr. Arthur had a strange expression on his face. "Maya, sit here for a moment. Did something happen, Mr. Arthur?" "I have something to tell you. Kensington Consulting, that company belongs to my son." Maya felt as if the floor had disappeared beneath her feet. "How so?" "My full name is Arthur Kensington. My son's name is Richard Kensington. He owns Kensington Consulting." But that's an incredible coincidence." "It's not a coincidence, Maya. I called him last week and told him about you. I asked him to give an opportunity to a very special person I met." "You did that?" "Yes, I did. But I didn't tell him it was you specifically. I just said I knew a very competent administrative assistant who was looking for a job." Maya didn't know whether to be happy or worried. What if he finds out it's me? What if he thinks it's favoritism? "Richard is a good boy, Maya. If you're competent at the job, there won't be any problem." "But Mr. Arthur, this might look like I'm taking advantage of our friendship." "Nonsense. You didn't know anything when you sent your resume there, and I only gave a recommendation. The rest depends on your competence." Maya was conflicted. On one hand, she was desperate for a job. On the other, she didn't want people to think she was using her relationship with Mr. Arthur to get advantages. "What do you think I should do?" "Go to the interview as normal. If they hire you, go to work and prove your worth. Simple as that. And if Richard finds out who I am, leave that to me. If needed, I can talk to him." Maya spent the rest of the morning anxious. At 2 in the afternoon, she was at the door of Kensington Consulting, a modern building in the financial district. The receptionist directed her to a meeting room where she was greeted by a woman in her 40s, apparently from Human Resources. "Maya, my name is Jennifer. I'm the HR coordinator for the company. Tell me a little about yourself." Maya talked about her professional experience, her skills, her availability. Jennifer asked several technical questions, which she answered confidently. "And why did you leave your last job?" Again, the difficult question. Maya decided to be honest. "I was fired for being late. There was a situation where I needed to help an elderly person who had fallen on the street, and that made me late for work." Jennifer raised her eyebrows. "I see. And how many times did that happen?" "It was the 3rd time I was late that month." And do you think the dismissal was fair?" "From the point of view of the company's rules, it was. From a human perspective, I think it was disproportionate." "Interesting answer. I'll talk with the director and get back to you later today." Maya left the company not knowing what to think. The interview had gone well, but her honesty about the reason for her dismissal might have hurt her. She went home and waited for the phone call. At 5 in the afternoon, the phone rang. "Maya, this is Jennifer from Kensington Consulting. I'd like to speak with you in person. Can you come here now?" "Of course. I'm on my way." Maya returned to the company, imagining it was to tell her she hadn't been selected. Jennifer greeted her, accompanied by a tall, serious-looking man who appeared to be about 45. "Maya, this is Richard Kensington, the company's director." Maya greeted the man, trying to hide her nervousness. He was Mr. Arthur's son. "Pleasure, Maya. Jennifer told me about your interview, and I was intrigued by your answer regarding the reason for your dismissal from your last job." "Mr. Richard, I always prefer to be honest, even if it hurts me." "It was exactly that honesty that caught my attention. Tell me in more detail what happened that day." Maya told the whole story again. Richard listened attentively, without interrupting. "And you didn't regret helping the elderly person?" "I didn't regret it. If I had to choose again, I would do the same thing." Richard smiled for the first time. "Maya, you're hired." "What?" "You heard correctly. We want you on our team." A person who puts humanity above convenience is exactly the type of employee we're looking for. Maya couldn't hide her emotion. Thank you so much. When can I start? Next Monday. Jennifer will explain all the conditions. After settling the details with Jennifer, a salary of $3,000, transportation allowance, meal allowance, health plan, Maya left the company on cloud 9. She ran home to tell the news to her children, who were thrilled. "Mum got a new job," shouted Chloe. "And it pays more than the last one," said Leo, who always paid attention to financial details. "Now we'll be able to pay all the bills on time," said Maya, relieved. That night, she called Mr. Arthur to tell him the news. "That's great, my dear. I knew Richard would like you. Thank you for the referral, Mr. Arthur. No need to thank me. You deserve this opportunity. And now, what about our arrangement? I won't be able to work at your house 3 times a week anymore. We'll figure it out. Maybe you can come once a week on Saturday. And of course, keep bringing the kids for Sunday lunches. Deal." On Monday, Maya arrived promptly at 8 in the morning for her first day at Kensington Consulting. Jennifer introduced her to the team and explained her duties. "Maya will be working directly with me, organizing documents, assisting clients, and helping with projects." The team welcomed her warmly, and she felt accepted from day one. The work was challenging, but she was motivated to prove she deserved the opportunity. During the first week, Maya made an effort to quickly learn all the company routines. Ricardo passed by her area several times a day, always greeting her with a nod, but without striking up a conversation. On Friday, at the end of the workday, he approached her desk. "Maya, how was your first week?" "Very good, Mr. Ricardo. I'm really enjoying the work." "Jennifer told me you're adapting well. Keep it up. Thank you very much for the opportunity." "Opportunities are earned, Maya. You earned yours." That weekend, Maya went to Mr. Arthur's house to do the weekly cleaning they had agreed upon. The elderly man was eager to hear about her first week. "So, how was working with Ricardo?" "He seems like a serious but fair person. We haven't talked much yet, but I have a good impression. Ricardo has always been a responsible boy. Since he was little, he took everything very seriously." "Are you proud of him?" "Very proud. He built that company from scratch. He started alone 15 years ago and now has over 50 employees." "What a beautiful story." "Yes, it is. I just feel sorry that he works so much there's no time left for dating. At 45, he's still single. Everyone has their own timing for those things." "That's true. But sometimes I think he dedicates himself so much to work to avoid thinking about loneliness." Maya found the comment interesting, but didn't want to delve deeper into the subject. On Sunday, as usual, she took her children to have lunch at Mr. Arthur's house. During the meal, Leo asked an unexpected question. "Mr. Arthur, do you have children?" "Yes, I do, my boy, a son." "And does he come to visit you?" Mr. Arthur was a bit embarrassed by the question. "He does, but not often. He works a lot, you know how it is." "That's a shame. If I had a father like you, I'd visit every day." Leo's innocence deeply touched Mr. Arthur, who masked his emotion by changing the subject. After lunch, while the children played checkers, Maya talked to Mr. Arthur about her son's comment. "Leo touched on a sensitive point, didn't he?" "Yes, he did. Ricardo and I grew apart after Martha passed away." "Why?" "I think each of us dealt with the grief differently. I shut myself in the apartment. He threw himself into work. Before I knew it, we no longer knew how to talk to each other." "But you still talk, don't you?" "We do, but only about practical things. He calls once a week to check if I'm okay. Sometimes he stops by here quickly. But it's not like before." "What was it like before?" "When Martha was alive, we would get together every Sunday. She was the link between us two. After she left, we lost that connection." Maya became thoughtful. Perhaps there was a way to help bring father and son closer again, but she didn't know how. In the second week of work, Maya was already more settled in the company. She knew her colleagues, mastered the routines, and was feeling confident. On Wednesday, Jennifer called her for a talk. "Maya, I need you to help me with a special project. We're organizing an event for the company's clients at the end of the month. It would be a kind of get-together." "What kind of help do you need?" "General organization, Choosing the venue, menu, decorations, guest list, it's a lot, and I need someone I can trust to assist me. I'd love to help. I've never organized corporate events, but I can learn. I'm sure you'll do well, and there's one detail. Mr. Ricardo wants it to be more intimate, family-like, not one of those usual formal events. Maya threw herself into the project with enthusiasm. She researched venues, vendors, had several creative ideas. Jennifer was impressed with her dedication. Maya, you have a natural talent for event planning. Thank you. I'm really enjoying doing this. I think we've found a skill of yours that even you didn't know you had. That Friday, Ricardo asked to see how the event organization was coming along. Maya, Jennifer told me you're coordinating the project. How's it going? Very well, Mr. Ricardo. We already have the venue booked, the menu chosen, and the decor planned. Show me the details. Maya presented the entire project she had developed. Ricardo analyzed every detail carefully. I really like the proposal. It's exactly as I imagined, something elegant yet cozy. I'm glad you liked it. I have a question. Where did these ideas come from? Had you worked with events before? Not professionally, but I always organized my children's birthday parties, some school gatherings for them. Simple things, but they gave me this experience. Interesting. You turned personal experience into professional competence. I think the skills we use at home can be applied at work too. I completely agree. Keep up the excellent work. That weekend, at Mr. Arthur's house, Maya talked about the event project. It's good that you're standing out at work, said the elderly man. I'm feeling useful. It had been a while since I'd felt that way. And how is Ricardo? Still serious? He is. But I noticed he's more observant than he seems. He notices everything that happens in the company. He's always been like that. Since he was little, he paid attention to every detail. You're proud of him, aren't you? Very proud. I just wish he were happier. Why do you think he isn't happy? I don't know. A father's intuition, maybe. He smiles little, has no social life. It's as if he's just fulfilling an obligation. Maya kept thinking about the conversation all through the following week. She observed Ricardo more closely and noticed Mr. Arthur was right. The man seemed to carry a weight on his shoulders. On Tuesday, while organizing some documents in Ricardo's office, she accidentally knocked over a picture frame that was on his desk. The photo fell to the floor and the glass cracked. "Oh no!" she exclaimed, quickly picking up the photo. Ricardo appeared in the doorway at that moment. "Did something happen, Maya?" "I'm sorry, Mr. Ricardo. I accidentally bumped the picture frame and the glass cracked." She handed the photo to him. It was an image of an elderly couple smiling. "Are these your parents?" she asked without thinking. They were. My mother passed away 2 years ago. Maya felt a tightness in her chest. In the photo, she immediately recognized the face of Martha, Mr. Arthur's wife. "I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you, I'll have the glass replaced. Don't worry about it. Mr. Ricardo, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Your mother was a special person, wasn't she?" Ricardo stopped and looked at Maya carefully. "Yes, she was. Why do you ask? By the way you look at the photo, you can tell she's greatly missed." "She is. She was the center of our family." "And your father? How is he dealing with the loss?" "My father? It's complicated. I think he closed himself off a lot after she died. We don't talk like we used to." Maya wanted to say she knew his father, that she knew how he was suffering, but she held back. Sometimes people close themselves off because they don't know how to express the pain. That could be, but it's hard for me too. I don't know how to get closer to him. Have you tried visiting him more often? Talking about everyday things? I've thought about it, but I always find an excuse, work, appointments. I think I'm afraid of finding him as sad as I am. I understand, but perhaps you could help each other overcome this sadness. Ricardo was silent for a moment. You speak as if you have experience with this. I do. I lost my father when I was young. I know how hard it is to deal with the absence of a loved one. And how did you get over it? By talking about him, remembering the good times, allowing the longing to exist without guilt. Interesting perspective. I'll think about what you said. That night, Maya was torn between telling Mr. Arthur about the conversation with Ricardo or not. She decided it would be better not to interfere directly in the relationship between father and son. On Thursday, Jennifer approached her with news. Maya, Mr. Ricardo was so impressed with your work on the event that he wants to talk to you about a possible change in role. What do you mean? He's thinking of creating an events and public relations department at the company, and you would be the coordinator. Maya was surprised. She had barely completed a month at the company and was already being considered for a promotion. But Jennifer, I don't have specific training for that. You have something better. Natural talent and creativity. The rest can be learned. On Friday, Ricardo called her for a formal meeting. Maya, I'm impressed with your work. In just a few weeks, you've shown skills that go beyond the role you were hired for. Thank you, Mr. Ricardo. I have a proposal for you. I'd like you to coordinate a new department at the company. Corporate events, public relations, internal marketing. Are you interested? Very interested. But may I ask why you're offering me this opportunity? Because you have something you can't learn in college, the sensitivity to understand what people need. That's fundamental for someone who will work with events and human relations. I accept the challenge. Great. The salary would be $4,500 plus benefits, and you would have autonomy to build your own team. Maya could hardly believe what was happening. In just over a month, her life had completely changed. That weekend at Mr. Arthur's house, she told him about the promotion. The elderly man was overjoyed. How wonderful, my dear. You deserve all this and more. Thank you, Mr. Arthur. Without your help, none of this would have happened. Nonsense. It was your effort and competence that earned this. But if you hadn't recommended me to Ricardo... Maya, let me tell you something. I never told Ricardo it was you specifically. I only said I knew a very good administrative assistant. The rest was your own merit. What do you mean? When you sent your resume online, you were selected on your own merits. The coincidence of it being my son's company was fate's doing. Maya became thoughtful. It was true. She had sent the resume even before she knew Mr. Arthur had a son. Fate really is a mysterious thing, she said. It is. And sometimes it brings together people who need each other. During lunch, Leo made a comment that caught her attention. Mom, you've been much happier lately. It's true, son. I'm feeling useful in my new job. It's good to see you smiling again, said Chloe. After you lost your other job, you were very sad. Sometimes bad things happen to make way for good things, said Mr. Arthur. You're right, agreed Maya. If I hadn't been fired, I never would have met you. And we never would have met your Mr. Arthur, added Leo. You brought joy back into my life, said the elderly man, moved. That afternoon, after the children had gone down for their Sunday nap, Maya and Mr. Arthur talked about the future. Mr. Arthur, I have a question to ask. Go ahead, my dear. Have you ever thought about telling Ricardo about our friendship? I have thought about it. But I'm afraid he might think I'm interfering in his professional life. I think it would be good for him to know. It might even help you two reconnect. You think so? I do. Ricardo seems like a person who values honesty. And you've always been honest with me. That's true, maybe it's time to talk to him. And if you want, I can help with that conversation. How? I don't know. Maybe by organizing a lunch, a casual get-together. Mr. Arthur smiled. You never stop organizing events, do you? It's what I know how to do best now, laughed Maya. Let me think of a way to approach the subject with him. On Monday at work, Maya began organizing her new department. Ricardo had cleared a room for her and provided a budget to hire an assistant. Maya, you have free rein to set everything up as you see fit, said Jennifer. I'm very excited. I never imagined I'd come this far. You've come this far because you deserve it. Now it's about working to maintain this position. During the week, Maya interviewed candidates for the assistant position and ended up hiring a 25-year-old woman named Taylor, recently graduated in communications. Maya, I'm very happy to be working with you, said Taylor on the first day. We'll make a good team, I'm sure of it, The new department's first official project was to organize an end-of-year event for the company's employees. Maya dedicated herself intensely, wanting everything to be perfect. On Friday, Ricardo appeared in her room to check on the progress. "How is the planning for the end-of-year event going?" "Very well, Mr. Ricardo. We're preparing something special." "Can you give me a spoiler?" "It will be a fellowship party, but with a different touch. We want every employee to feel individually valued." "Interesting. How do you plan to do that?" "We'll prepare a personalized tribute for each one, highlighting their contributions to the company during the year." "I like the idea." "That's exactly the kind of human approach I was hoping for from your department." After Ricardo left, Maya kept thinking about the conversation. It was evident that he valued the human side of work relationships. Perhaps he was a more sensitive person than he appeared. That weekend at Mr. Arthur's house, she commented on her observations about Ricardo. "Mr. Arthur, I think Ricardo is more sensitive than he seems." "He is, my dear. He's always been that way. As a child, he would cry when he saw someone sad on television. And now? How is he dealing with his mother's loss? I think he's suppressing his feelings. Martha always said he kept everything to himself. Maybe he needed a reason to open up. What kind of reason? I don't know. Something that showed him he's not alone." Mr. Arthur became thoughtful. "Maya, I think the time has come for me to tell him about our friendship." "Are you sure?" "Yes, I am. You've given me the courage to do it." "How do you plan to approach the subject?" "I'll invite him to have lunch here at home next Sunday, and I'll tell him everything." "What if he gets angry for not knowing sooner?" "I'll explain that I wanted to preserve his position at the company. If he's the man I raised, he'll understand." Maya felt anxious about the prospect of the meeting. What if Ricardo felt betrayed? What if it harmed her position at the company? "Mr. Arthur, maybe it's better if I'm not here when you tell him." "No, Maya, I want you to be present. After all, this story involves the three of us." On Tuesday, Mr. Arthur called Ricardo. "Son, how about coming over for lunch this Sunday?" "Dad, I don't know if I can make it. I have a lot of work." "Ricardo, it's been over a month since we've really seen each other. Please set aside this time for your father." "All right, Dad. What time?" "Noon. And I'll make that roast chicken you used to like." "Roast chicken? You haven't cooked in years." "I know. It's time to start cooking again." After hanging up, Mr. Arthur remained thoughtful. Was it really a good idea to tell Ricardo everything? On Friday, Maya noticed Ricardo seemed especially serious at work. "Mr. Ricardo, is everything okay?" "Yes, Maya. I'm just a little worried about a personal matter." "Can I help with anything?" "Actually, it's about my father. He invited me to lunch at his house on Sunday. It's been a long time since that's happened." "That's great. It'll be an opportunity for you two to talk." "That's what worries me. I'm afraid we won't have anything to talk about anymore." "I'm sure you'll find things to talk about. Parents and children always do." "I hope you're right." On Saturday, Maya went to Mr. Arthur's house to help him prepare for the next day's lunch. "Are you nervous?" she asked. "A little. It's been a long time since Ricardo and I have had a real conversation." "Everything will be fine, you'll see." "And you, are you nervous?" "I am. I don't know how Ricardo will react when he finds out we've known each other for months." "He'll understand, Maya. I'm sure of it." On Sunday morning, Maya arrived early to help with the final preparations. Mr. Arthur was visibly anxious. "What if I'm making a mistake?" he asked. "You're not making a mistake. You're trying to reconnect with your son. That's brave." At 11:30, Maya offered to leave before Ricardo arrived. "No, my dear. Stay here. I want you to be present." At noon sharp, the doorbell rang. It was Ricardo. "Hi, Dad. Wow, something smells great." "Hi, son. I made your favorite dish." Ricardo entered the living room and stopped when he saw Maya. "Maya, what are you doing here?" Mr. Arthur stepped forward to answer. "Ricardo, sit down here. I need to talk to you." "Dad, what's going on?" "Son, Maya is a friend of mine, a very special friend." Ricardo looked back and forth between his father and Maya, not understanding. "What do you mean, a friend?" "Sit down and I'll explain everything." Mr. Arthur told the whole story, from the day he fell in the rain up to that moment. Ricardo listened in silence, his expression growing more and more surprised. "Let me get this straight," said Ricardo when his father finished. "Maya helped you on the street, got fired for it. You hired her to work here, you two became friends, and I hired her without knowing any of this." "That's exactly right," replied Mr. Arthur. "And you didn't think I should know?" Maya spoke for the first time. "Ricardo, I wanted to tell you many times, but I was afraid you'd think I was taking advantage of the situation. And I was afraid you'd think I was interfering in your company," added Mr. Arthur. Ricardo was silent for a few minutes, processing all the information. "So, let me understand one thing, Maya. You really lost your job for helping my father?" "I did." "And you accepted the job here without knowing I was his son?" "Exactly. I only found out on the day of the interview when your father told me. And you, Dad, you really thought you could hide this from me. I just wanted to protect Maya. She deserved an opportunity." Ricardo stood up and went to the window. He stood there for several minutes, his back to them. "Ricardo, are you angry?" asked Mr. Arthur. Ricardo turned around with tears in his eyes. "Angry? Dad, I'm moved. What do you mean? It had been 2 years since I'd seen you so excited, so alive, and now I understand why." He approached Maya. "Maya, thank you for taking care of my father. Thank you for bringing joy back into his life. Ricardo, and thank you for showing me, even without knowing it, the value of humanity in work. Your actions at the company reminded me why I started this business." Maya couldn't hold back her tears. "I'm the one who should be thanking you. You both changed my life." Mr. Arthur stepped closer to the two of them. "So no one is angry with anyone?" "No, Dad. I'm happy. Happy because you found a family," said Ricardo, looking at Maya. "A family?" asked Maya. "That's what you are to him, isn't it? You and the kids became the family he needed after Mom passed." Mr. Arthur hugged them both. "And you are part of this family too, son. You always have been." During lunch, the three talked like they had never talked before. Ricardo spoke about his difficulties dealing with his mother's loss. Mr. Arthur talked about the loneliness he felt, and Maya shared her struggles as a single mother. "You know what amazes me most about this whole story?" said Ricardo. "What?" asked Maya and Mr. Arthur. "It's that it all started with an act of kindness. Maya helped a stranger in the rain, and that created a chain of kindness that reached me." "How so?" asked Maya. "You reminded me of the importance of seeing people as human beings, not just as employees. It's been changing how I run the company." "Ricardo is right," said Mr. Arthur. "Kindness begets kindness." "And where are these kids I keep hearing about?" asked Ricardo. "Today they went to spend Sunday with a little friend," explained Maya. "But you can meet them next week." "I'd love to. From what my dad says, they're special kids." "They really are," confirmed Mr. Arthur. "Leo and Chloe are wonderful." After lunch, Ricardo stayed at his father's house until late afternoon. It was the first time in 2 years they had spent so much time together. "Dad, how about we start having these Sunday lunches again? Would you have time for that?" "I'll make time. I realized today how much I was missing it." "And are Maya and the kids welcome too?" "Of course. I want them to be part of our family." When Ricardo left, Mr. Arthur was radiant. "Maya, I don't know how to thank you for everything you've done for me." "I'm the one who doesn't know how to thank you, Mr. Arthur. If it weren't for you, I'd be in a terrible situation right now. We helped each other. That's how the best friendships work." On Monday at work, Maya was anxious to see how Ricardo would behave after Sunday's revelations. He arrived at the company with a smile on his face, greeted every employee by name, and stopped at Maya's desk. "Good morning, Maya. How was the rest of your Sunday?" "Very good, Mr. Ricardo. And yours?" "Unforgettable. By the way, you can stop calling me Mr. Ricardo. We're practically family now." "What should I call you then?" "Just Ricardo, or even cousin if you like," he said, laughing. During the week, Maya noticed a significant change in Ricardo's behavior. He was more smiley, closer to the employees, more interested in how everyone was doing. On Thursday, he sought her out for a conversation. "Maya, I've been thinking about something. How about we organize a special event for Father's Day?" "What kind of event?" "Something that allows employees to honor their fathers." I know many people would like to do that but don't have the opportunity. I like the idea. I can develop a project. And there's one more thing. I want you to organize a special surprise for my dad. What kind of surprise? I don't know. You're the event expert. Something that shows him how important he is. Maya spent the weekend planning the Father's Day event. She had an idea she thought would be perfect for honoring Mr. Arthur. On Monday, she presented the project to Ricardo. I thought of an afternoon of tributes in the company auditorium. Any employee who wants to can honor their father with a photo, a letter, a song. I like it. And the surprise for my dad. How about him being the special honoree? We can invite him to receive a tribute for being an example of a father and grandfather. Grandfather? Well, he kind of adopted my kids as grandchildren, and they adore him. Perfect. Let's do it. The event was scheduled for the Friday before Father's Day. Maya worked intensely on the organization together with Taylor. Maya, I've never seen you so dedicated to a project, observed Taylor. It's just that this one is special. It's for someone very important to me. On Thursday, the day before the event, Maya called Mr. Arthur. Mr. Arthur, Ricardo wants you to come to the company tomorrow afternoon. What for? It's a surprise. Just come, please. What time? 3 in the afternoon. And can you bring formal wear? It's a special event. On Friday, the company auditorium was packed. Employees had brought their families to participate in the tribute to fathers. Mr. Arthur arrived promptly at 3, wearing his best suit and accompanied by Leo and Chloe, whom Maya had picked up from school. What a beautiful event, he said, impressed with the decorations. It really is, the children agreed. Ricardo went on stage to open the event. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are here to celebrate something very special, the father figure in our lives. For an hour, employees took turns on stage honoring their fathers. There were tears, laughter, emotional moments. And now, said Ricardo, we want to pay a special tribute to someone who has become an example of a father and grandfather for our business family. Mr. Arthur looked at Maya, not understanding. Mr. Arthur Kensington, can you come up here to the stage, please? The elderly man was confused, but went up on stage accompanied by Leo and Chloe. Dad, Ricardo said into the microphone, you may not know it, but you've become an example for many people here at the company. How so, son? Your story with Maya has taught us that small acts of kindness can change lives, that helping someone in difficulty is always the right thing to do. A screen was lowered, and a video Maya had prepared began to play, with testimonials from employees about the importance of the father figure. And most importantly, Ricardo continued, you taught me that family isn't limited to blood ties. Family is the people we choose to love and who choose to love us back. Mr. Arthur was visibly moved. Leo and Chloe hugged him on stage. And to finish, said Maya, also stepping onto the stage, we want to thank you for showing us that kindness is the best investment we can make in life. The entire auditorium rose in a standing ovation for Mr. Arthur. The elderly man, with tears in his eyes, approached the microphone. I don't know what to say, he began, his voice choked. When I fell on that sidewalk a few months ago, I thought it was just another bad day in the life of a lonely old man. But you weren't alone, shouted Chloe from the stage. That's true, my dear, I wasn't alone. And thanks to the kindness of a special person, he looked at Maya, I discovered that we would never be alone if we have love in our hearts. And thank you, son, he said to Ricardo, for giving me a wonderful daughter-in-law and 2 grandchildren. The audience laughed and applauded once more. After the event, everyone gathered at Mr. Arthur's house to continue the celebration. It was the first time Ricardo had brought co-workers to his father's house. Dad, the house looks very different, observed Ricardo. It's just that now I have reasons to keep it tidy, replied Mr. Arthur. During the evening, while the children played and the adults talked, Maya had a moment of reflection. A few months ago, her life seemed to have hit rock bottom. Now she was surrounded by people who cared about her, had a job that fulfilled her, and a family she had chosen to love. What are you thinking about? Asked Ricardo, approaching her. I'm thinking about how life can change so quickly. 4 months ago I was desperate, without a job, without hope. And now? Now I feel like I've found my place in the world. You haven't just found your place, Maya. You created a better place for all of us. The following Monday, Ricardo called her into his office. Maya, I need to make you a proposal. What kind of proposal? I'm thinking of expanding the company, opening a division specialized in corporate events and human relations in the workplace. Interesting. And what would my role be in this? You would be the director of this new division. Salary of $7,000, profit sharing, full autonomy. Maya was speechless. Ricardo, this is more than I ever dreamed of. You deserve this and much more. Your work here has been exceptional, but most importantly, your presence brought humanity back to this company. I accept the challenge. And there's one more thing. I'd like you to consider going to college. The company can pay for your studies. I never thought about going to college. I always thought it was too late. It's never too late to learn, Maya. You have natural talent, but technical knowledge can enhance your abilities even more. That night, Maya told her children about the new proposal. Mom is going to become a director, exclaimed Chloe. And earn a lot more money, said Leo, always practical. The most important thing isn't the money, kids. It's that Mommy is managing to do what she loves. And can we keep visiting Mr. Arthur? Asked Chloe. Of course you can. He's part of our family now. And Ricardo too? Asked Leo. Him too. We are all a family now. 3 months later, Maya was enrolled in a business administration course. Her new division was running at full steam, and she had hired a team of 5 people. One Sunday, during the traditional lunch at Mr. Arthur's house, Ricardo made an announcement. Everyone, I have some news to share. What news? Asked Mr. Arthur. I've met someone special. A girlfriend? Asked Chloe excitedly. Yes, a girlfriend, Chloe. Her name is Vanessa. She's a psychologist and works with the elderly. That's wonderful, son, said Mr. Arthur, beaming. When will we get to meet her? If you'd like, I can bring her to lunch next week. Of course we'd like that, said Maya. It will be a pleasure to meet her. And does she like children? Asked Leo. She loves them. She also works with family therapy. After lunch, while the children played in the guest room, the 3 adults talked in the living room. Maya, I need to thank you once again, said Ricardo. Why now? Because you helped me discover that I needed more life beyond work. It was by watching how you balance family and career that I realized something was missing in my life. I'm happy for you, Ricardo. And you, Dad, how do you feel knowing your son is dating? Very happy, my son. Martha always said you would be a great husband when you found the right person. She really said that? Yes, she did. And she also said that when that happened, I would know you were doing well. Ricardo was moved. You know, Dad, I think I understand now what Mom meant. What did she mean? That family is love. It doesn't matter how it forms. What matters is the love that binds people together. Mr. Arthur looked at Maya, at Ricardo, and then at the room where the children were. Your mother was right, as always. Look at the beautiful family we've formed. And the best part, said Maya, is that it all started with a simple act of kindness. It wasn't simple, my dear, corrected Mr. Arthur. It was an act of love, and love always finds a way to multiply. 6 months later, Ricardo and Vanessa were married in a simple and emotional ceremony. Maya was the maid of honor, Mr. Arthur was the best man, and Leo and Chloe were the ring bearers. I never imagined my wedding would be in such a special family, said Vanessa during the reception. Neither did I, agreed Ricardo. But it's exactly the family I always wanted to have. During the party, Mr. Arthur pulled Maya aside for a private conversation. Maya, you saved my family. How so, Mr. Arthur? When you helped me that day in the rain, you weren't just helping an old man who had fallen. You were saving a father who had lost the connection with his son. You're the one who saved me and my children. We saved each other, my dear, and created a beautiful family in the process. A family born from kindness, and one that will keep spreading kindness wherever it goes. A year later, Maya was invited to give a lecture at a university on humanizing workplace relations. Her division at the company had become a regional benchmark, and her story inspired other businesses. How did you start your career in human relations? Asked a student. It started when I stopped to help an elderly man who had fallen in the rain, replied Maya, smiling. She told the whole story, from the layoff to the transformation of her life. The students listened, fascinated. "And what is the main lesson you took from this experience?" asked a professor. "That kindness is an investment that always yields a return. Maybe not in the way we expect, maybe not when we expect it, but it always does." "And what would you say to someone going through hard times? To never give up on being a good person. No matter how difficult the situation, there is always someone in a worse situation who needs help. And when we help someone, we are actually helping ourselves." After the lecture, a young woman approached Maya. "Professor, your story really moved me. Can I ask a personal question?" "Of course." "Are you happy? I mean, truly?" Maya thought of the children, who were now grown up and happy. Leo, at 15, was a responsible young man who dreamed of studying business administration like her. Chloe, at 11, was a cheerful girl who loved organizing family parties. She thought of Mr. Arthur, who at 77 had regained his joy for life and become a devoted grandfather. She thought of Ricardo and Vanessa, who were parents to a beautiful baby and had found a balance between work and family. She thought of the company, which had become a place where people enjoyed working because they felt valued as human beings. "We are very happy," she replied, smiling. "Happy in a way I never imagined possible." "And what's the secret to that happiness?" "There is no secret. There is choice. Every day we choose to be grateful for what we have. We choose to care for each other. We choose to spread kindness instead of holding on to resentment. Even when things get tough? Especially when things get tough. It's precisely in difficult times that our kindness is most needed, both for others and for ourselves." The young woman smiled and thanked her. Maya watched her walk away and thought about how that conversation might plant a seed of kindness in that person's life. That night at home, she was organizing some family photos when she found an image that moved her. It was a picture taken at the first Sunday lunch at Mr. Arthur's house, just a few months after they had met. In the photo, Mr. Arthur was sitting at the table with a radiant smile. Leo and Chloe were on either side of him, and she was in the background, setting the table. At that moment, none of them could have imagined how their lives would transform. "Mom, what are you looking at?" asked Chloe, coming closer. "An old picture of us. Look how little you were." "Wow, I had a missing tooth," laughed Chloe. "And Mr. Arthur looked a little sad, right?" "He did. He still missed his wife very much. And now he's always cheerful." "That's true. The love of a family makes all the difference." Leo, who was doing homework at the kitchen table, joined the conversation. "Mom, have you ever thought about what would have happened if that day you hadn't stopped to help Mr. Arthur?" "I have, son." "And?" "I think our life would be very different, much emptier." "So does that mean getting fired was a good thing?" asked Chloe. "Getting fired was hard, but the choices I made after being fired were good." "What kind of choices?" "I chose to help someone even though I knew it would cost me my job. I chose to accept help when I needed it. I chose to trust people. I chose to be grateful instead of bitter." "And you chose to love us a lot," said Leo, in a display of affection unusual for his age. "That was the easiest choice of all," said Maya, hugging both children. The following weekend, during lunch at Mr. Arthur's house, now with Vanessa and the baby completing the family, Ricardo made a proposal. "Everyone, I've been thinking about something. How about we organize a social project for the company?" "What kind of project?" asked Maya. "Something related to elderly care. I know there are many seniors out there alone like my father was." "I like the idea," said Vanessa. "In my line of work, I see many cases like that." "And how would it work?" asked Mr. Arthur. "We could organize visits, activities, create a support network. Maya could coordinate the project." "I would love to do that," said Maya. "It would be a way to give back everything we've received." "And we can help too," said Leo. "Chloe and I can visit the seniors, talk with them." "What a wonderful idea," said Mr. Arthur, moved. Martha would be so proud to see this family spreading love around. The Adopt a Grandparent project was launched 3 months later. Company employees and their families volunteered to visit seniors in nursing homes or living alone. The success was such that other companies began copying the initiative. Maya received invitations to give talks about the project and was recognized by the city as Citizen of the Year. "I never imagined I would come this far," she said to Mr. Arthur during one of the visits to the project. "You came exactly where you deserve to be, my daughter. And you? Are you happy with all this?" "I am happier than I ever imagined I could be again." They were in a retirement home where they had spent the afternoon organizing activities for the resident seniors. Maya watched Leo and Chloe chatting animatedly with the adoptive grandparents they had chosen. "Your children are special, Maya. They learned by example, Mr. Arthur. They saw how love can transform lives. And they will carry that lesson for life. I hope so." One of the seniors from the home approached them. "Are you the family that created this project?" "Yes, we are," replied Maya. "I want to thank you. It had been years since I felt so valued. These visits have given meaning to my days." "I'm very happy to hear that. May I ask what motivated you to start this work?" Maya looked at Mr. Arthur and smiled. "One day, I saw a person in need of help and decided to stop and help. That decision completely changed our lives. And now you are changing other people's lives." "That's exactly it," said Mr. Arthur. "Kindness is contagious. When you do good, you inspire others to do the same." On the way back home, Chloe asked a question that surprised everyone. "Mum, do you think we were born to do good?" "Why that question, my daughter?" "Because ever since we met Mr. Arthur, our life turned into something good. As if we had found our place in the world," Leo agreed. "It's true, before we were just living. Now we live and help other people live better too." Maya was moved by her children's maturity. "I think everyone is born with the ability to do good, but not everyone chooses to use that ability." "And what makes the difference?" asked Leo. "Love," answered Mr. Arthur. "When you truly love, you naturally want to take care of others." "And we love you both so much," said Chloe, hugging the elderly man. "And I love you all very much too, my dear grandchildren." That night, after putting the children to bed, Maya stayed on the apartment balcony, looking at the stars. She was only 37, but she felt as if she had lived several different lives. The life before, when she was just another employee following routines. The life of despair, when she was fired and didn't know how to move forward. The life of discovery, when she met Mr. Arthur and realized she wasn't alone in the world. The life of transformation, when she found her professional and personal calling. And now, the life of gratitude, when she woke up every day knowing she had a purpose greater than just survival. The phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. It was her mother, Gloria Sterling. "Hi, honey, how are you?" "Hi, Mom, I'm good, really good." "Your voice sounds different, happier." "I am happier, Mom." "That's good. You deserve all the happiness in the world." "Mom, I have a proposal for you." "What proposal?" "How about you come live here in New York City? We have a big family now and you would be part of it." "Maya, I don't want to be a burden." "What burden, Mom? You raised 5 kids on your own. Now it's our turn to take care of you." "But I have my life in Cape May." "You can have your life here too. And even better, you can have grandchildren to look after and people who love you nearby." Gloria was silent for a moment. "Are you sure I won't be in the way?" "Mom, you won't be in the way. You'll complete our family." "Then I accept. I've always wanted to get to know these grandchildren better. And they're dying to get to know their grandma better. And this Mr. Arthur of yours who became part of the family? You'll adore him, Mom, and he'll adore you." "Then it's settled. I'll start organizing the move." After hanging up, Maya felt that another piece of her life's puzzle had snapped perfectly into place. 2 months later, Gloria moved to New York City and settled into a small but comfortable apartment in the same neighborhood as Maya. The integration with the family was perfect. "Mrs. Sterling, you're exactly like Maya," said Mr. Arthur at the first Sunday lunch with her present. "How so?" "You have the same good heart, the same willingness to help others." "That's where she gets it from," said Gloria, smiling. "And the same stubbornness, too," added Greg, making everyone laugh. At least now there are 2 of us against you men, joked Vanessa. 3, corrected Chloe. I'm a woman too. That's true, said Leo. We're the minority here. A well-treated minority, observed Mr. Arthur. During that lunch, Maya watched the table full of people she loved. Gloria chatting animatedly with Vanessa about recipes. Mr. Arthur teaching Leo how to play a card game. Chloe showing Greg a drawing she had made. The baby sleeping peacefully in the arms of whoever was closest. What are you thinking about? Asked Gloria, noticing her daughter's contemplative look. I'm thinking about how incredible what's happened to our family is. What do you mean? 2 years ago, it was just the 3 of us, me, Leo, and Chloe. Today we are... She counted mentally. 8 people, counting the baby. And each one arrived in a different way, observed Greg. That's true, said Vanessa. I met you all through Greg. Mrs. Sterling arrived by Maya's invitation. Mr. Arthur arrived by falling on the sidewalk, completed Chloe, making everyone laugh. And the baby came because Daddy and Mommy loved each other very much, said Leo, with the seriousness of someone discovering the mysteries of life. And everyone arrived at the right time, said Mr. Arthur, just when we needed each other most. After lunch, while the men organized the kitchen, a tradition Greg had created, the women stayed in the living room talking. Maya, can I ask you a question? Said Vanessa. Of course. Do you ever regret helping Mr. Arthur that day? Never. Why? Because it must have been hard to lose your job, to go through difficulties. It was hard, yes, but if I had to choose again, I would do exactly the same thing. Even knowing all the suffering that would come. Especially knowing about the suffering, because it was through the suffering that I found strengths I didn't even know I had. And you discovered wonderful people, added Gloria. Exactly. If I hadn't lost my job, I would never have met Mr. Arthur. If I hadn't met him, I would never have worked at Greg's company. If I hadn't worked there, you all wouldn't have met each other. It's a chain of events, observed Vanessa. It's what I call destiny, said Chloe, who had joined the conversation. Destiny? Yeah, Mum. My school teacher explained that destiny is when things happen in a way that seems like someone planned it, even though nobody planned it. Your daughter is very wise, Vanessa said to Maya. She takes after her grandmother, said Gloria proudly. That night, after everyone had left, Maya stayed tidying up the house and reflecting on the afternoon's conversation. Did destiny really exist? Or did people create their own destiny through the choices they made? She concluded that it was perhaps a bit of both. Destiny created the opportunities, but it was up to each person to decide whether to seize those opportunities or not. Her opportunity had been finding Mr. Arthur on the sidewalk. Her choice had been to stop and help, even knowing the consequences. All the other opportunities that arose afterward were the result of that first choice. On Monday at work, she received a call that made her very excited. Maya, this is the education department. We received your proposal to bring the Adopt a Grandparent project to the city schools. And? Approved. We want to implement it in 50 schools starting next semester. That's wonderful. How will it work? The school children will adopt seniors from the community and make weekly visits, always accompanied by teachers and volunteers. Perfect. I can start preparing the training materials. Yes, you can. And there's one more thing. We want you to coordinate the project across the entire city school system. Maya hung up the phone, beaming. The project that had started as a small company initiative was becoming public policy. She ran to tell Greg the news. Greg, you won't believe it. What happened? The city approved our project for all the public schools. Maya, that's fantastic. You're changing the city. We are changing the city. This started with your idea. My idea, your execution. We're a perfect team. And now? How will I balance this with the work here at the company? Simple. You'll have to hire more people for your division and dedicate more time to the social project. Are you sure? Absolutely. In fact, I have a proposal. How about we create a social enterprise, focused exclusively on projects that improve people's lives? A social enterprise? That's right. You would be the president. I would be the initial investor. What do you think? Maya was speechless. In 2 years, she had gone from a dismissed administrative assistant to the president of a social enterprise. Greg, this is a dream I didn't even know I had. So does that mean you accept? Of course I accept. But on one condition. What? Your father has to be our honorary consultant. After all, he was the one who taught us the value of kindness. Perfect. He'll be thrilled. That afternoon, Maya went straight from the company to Mr. Arthur's house to share the news. Mr. Arthur, you won't believe what happened today. Tell me quickly, my dear. This suspense is contagious. She told him about the project's approval in the schools and about Ricardo's proposal for the social enterprise. And the best part, we want you to be our consultant. Consultant? Me? Of course. Who better than you to guide us on how to spread kindness in the world? Mr. Arthur was moved. Maya, when I fell on that sidewalk, I thought my life was over. Now I see it was actually the beginning of a new life. For all of us, Mr. Arthur. For all of us. And do you know what makes me happiest? What? Knowing that Martha was right? Right about what? She always said that when we do good, good comes back to us multiplied. Just look how that's been confirmed in our story. It's true. Everything that happened was the result of that first act of kindness. And now we're going to help other people discover that too. Exactly. We'll teach that kindness isn't weakness. It's strength. It's courage. It's the most powerful thing there is. 6 months later, the social enterprise Kindness Roots was running at full steam. Maya had hired a team of 15 people, all dedicated to creating and implementing projects to improve community life. The Adopt a Grandparent project was running in 100 schools and had created over 2,000 bonds between children and seniors. Maya was invited to give a talk at an international conference on social innovation. How did the idea for Kindness Roots come about? Asked the moderator. It came from a personal experience, Maya replied. 3 years ago, I stopped to help an elderly man who had fallen in the rain. That simple act completely transformed my life and the lives of many others. And what is the company's philosophy? We believe small acts of kindness can generate big transformations. Our mission is to plant seeds of kindness in communities and nurture them so they grow and multiply. And does it work? It works incredibly well. We already have projects in 50 cities across the country, and most importantly, the communities themselves have started creating their own projects, without our intervention. Which project makes you proudest? Adopt a Grandparent. It started with the idea of combating loneliness among the elderly, but it turned into something much bigger. The children who participate develop empathy, social responsibility, respect for their elders. The seniors feel valued, useful, loved, and families grow closer. And personally, how has this experience changed your life? It taught me that happiness isn't something you seek. It's something you create every day through your choices and actions. After the talk, a young entrepreneur approached Maya. Your story inspired me so much. Can I ask a personal question? Of course. Do you really believe anyone can change the world? I believe anyone can change their world. And when you change your world, you end up influencing other people's worlds too. How do I start? Start small. Help one person today. Smile at someone who looks sad. Listen to someone who needs to be heard. Offer help to someone who's struggling. That's all? That's all. The rest happens naturally. The young woman smiled and thanked her. Maya watched her walk away and thought about how that conversation could be the beginning of a new story of transformation. On the flight back to New York City, Maya looked out the window and reflected on everything that had happened over the past 3 years. Leo was now 18 and had been accepted into business school. He was a responsible young man who actively participated in the family's social projects. Chloe, at 14, dreamed of being a psychologist like Vanessa and already helped with the children's projects. Gloria, at 65, had become one of the most active volunteers for Adopt a Grandparent and was beloved by all the seniors she cared for. Mr. Arthur, at 80, remained the heart of the family and the wisest consultant for the social enterprise. Ricardo and Vanessa now had 2 children and a solid marriage, based on love and mutual respect. And her? Maya had discovered her true calling and was doing work that gave meaning to her life. But most importantly of all, she had discovered that family isn't just about blood ties. It's about choices. It's about people who decide to love and care for each other. The plane landed in New York City on a Thursday night. At the airport, the whole family was waiting for her. "Mom!" shouted Leo and Chloe, running to hug her. "How was the lecture?" asked Ricardo. "It went very well, and it yielded several interesting contacts for new projects." "That's great," said Mr. Arthur. "But the most important thing is that you're home." "It's true," Gloria agreed. "The house feels empty when you travel." "And I miss you all," said Maya, hugging everyone at once. On the way home, Chloe asked a question that caught Maya by surprise. "Mum, have you ever thought about writing a book telling our story?" "Why would I do that?" "Because our story could inspire other people, just like you inspire people in your lectures." "Your daughter is right," said Gloria. "It's a beautiful story, one that shows how life can change when we choose to do good. And it shows that family can be formed in many ways," added Leo. "I'll think about the idea," said Maya. "If you write it, I'll help," offered Chloe. "I can draw the illustrations." "And I can help with the research," said Leo. "And I'll tell all about what life was like before you all showed up," added Mr. Arthur. "Then it's decided," said Ricardo. "Maya is going to write the story of our family." That night, after everyone had left, Maya sat at the kitchen table with a blank notebook in front of her. "It was a rainy morning when my life changed forever," she wrote. "I was running so I wouldn't be late for work when I saw an elderly gentleman fallen on the sidewalk." And so she began to write the story of the family formed through kindness. 2 years later, the book Kindness Roots: How a Simple Act Can Change Everything became a national bestseller. The royalties were donated entirely to the Adopt a Grandparent project. The book inspired movies, documentaries, and hundreds of other social projects across the country. But for Maya, the greatest success wasn't in the sales numbers or the awards she received. The greatest success was in the Sunday lunches at Mr. Arthur's house, now with an even bigger table to accommodate the whole growing family. Ricardo and Vanessa had had their third child. Leo was dating a young psychologist who became interested in the family's social projects. Chloe had been accepted into an exchange program to study social projects in Europe. "Look how our family has grown," said Mr. Arthur during one of these lunches. "And it keeps growing," said Vanessa, placing a hand on her belly. She was pregnant with their fourth child. "Another grandchild!" exclaimed Gloria, beaming. "Or granddaughter," corrected Chloe. "I want a girl cousin." "Either way," said Leo. "The important thing is they're being born into a family full of love. And full of stories to tell," added Maya. "Speaking of stories," said Ricardo, "I have some news to share." "What news?" everyone asked. "A production company wants to adapt our book into a movie." "A movie?" exclaimed Chloe. "Are we going to be famous?" "We're already famous," said Mr. Arthur. "Famous for spreading kindness around the world." "That's true," agreed Gloria. "And that's the best kind of fame anyone can have." After lunch, Maya and Mr. Arthur were alone on the porch, watching the children play in the backyard. "Mr. Arthur, can I ask you a question?" "Of course, my dear. Did you ever imagine our story would go this far?" "I never imagined the details, but I always knew something special was happening." "How did you know?" "By the way you helped me that day. You had a different light in your eyes, a kindness that came from the heart." "And what do you think Martha would think of all this, Mr.?" Arthur smiled, his eyes shining. "She would be very proud, and she would say it was exactly what she asked God for before she left." "What did she ask for?" "That I would find a new family to care for and be cared by, and that this family would spread love throughout the world." Do you think she's watching us? I'm sure she is, and she's smiling. At that moment, Chloe came running from the backyard. "Grandpa Arthur, Grandma Gloria is teaching the little kids how to plant flowers." "That's wonderful," said Mr. Arthur. "Flowers are like kindness. The more you plant, the more beautiful the world becomes." "That's true," agreed Chloe. "And when they grow, they make other people smile." "Exactly," said Maya. "That's how kindness works. One person plants, another tends, and everyone enjoys the beauty." Mum, do you think our story will inspire other families? It already is, my dear. Every day I get messages from people who read our book and decided to do something good for someone. And do you think those people will form beautiful families like ours? Some will, said Mr. Arthur. Others will improve the families they already have. What's important is that they will all spread more love in the world. That night, as the family said their goodbyes and everyone headed to their homes, Maya had a moment of deep gratitude. 5 years earlier, she was a desperate woman, without a job, without prospects, struggling alone to raise 2 children. Today, she was the president of a nationally recognized social enterprise, the author of a best-selling book, the mother of 2 extraordinary young people, and part of a large, loving family. But most importantly, she had discovered that true wealth isn't measured in money or professional success. It's measured in love, in relationships, in the difference you make in people's lives. Before going to sleep, she went to her children's rooms to say goodnight. Leo was studying for college but stopped when she entered. Mom, thank you for everything you've done for us. Why are you thanking me out of the blue? Because today, seeing the whole family together, I realized you created something magical. You transformed our small, broken family into a big, happy one. It wasn't just me, Leo, it was all the choices we made together. But it started with you stopping to help Grandpa Arthur. And you agree with that choice? I completely agree. It was the best thing you ever did in your life. Chloe, who was in the next room, shouted, I agree too, and when I grow up I want to be just like you, Mom. You'll be better than me, my dear, replied Maya, because you'll start making a difference in the world earlier. Then I'll start tomorrow. How? I'll help someone who needs it, just like you helped Grandpa Arthur. Maya smiled, knowing that the chain of kindness that had begun with a simple act of help in the rain would continue to spread through the new generation. The next morning, Chloe really put her plan into action. She saw a classmate crying during recess and went over to help. What happened, Harper? My grandmother is in the hospital and I'm scared. Do you want me to go with you to visit her? You would do that? Of course. My family has experience in caring for the elderly. This simple offer of help resulted in a lasting friendship between the 2 girls and a special visit from Chloe and her family to the hospital, where they brought joy to several elderly patients. The school principal was so impressed with the initiative that she invited Maya to speak about the Adopt a Grandparent project to all the classes. It's amazing how kindness multiplies, commented the principal after the talk. It's the greatest discovery I've made in life, replied Maya. Kindness is the only thing where the more you give, the more you receive. And your daughter has already learned that lesson. She and my son. They grew up seeing that helping others is natural. It's part of who we are as a family. You are raising the next generation of kindness multipliers. I hope so. The world needs people who believe they can make a difference. That afternoon, on the way back from school, Chloe made a comment that deeply touched Maya. Mom, today I understood something. What did you understand? That being happy isn't about having everything you want. It's about wanting to help other people be happy too. Where did you learn that? By observing our family, everyone here is happy because everyone looks out for everyone. That's true, and that's how we want it to keep being. It will continue. I'll take care of that. How? By being just like you, by stopping to help those in need, even when it's a lot of work. Maya hugged her daughter, knowing her mission as a mother was being fulfilled. She had raised not only successful children, but kind human beings who would make a difference in the world. End of story. Dear listener, if you are enjoying the story, please take a moment to leave a like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we are just starting out, now continuing. Now tell us what you thought of this moving story. Do you believe small acts of kindness can truly transform lives? Have you ever been in a situation where helping someone changed your own destiny? Share your thoughts with us in the comments, and don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other heartwarming stories.